is Michael, and now I'm in Greece. Quite obviously because it, feels a bit tropical and greasy. Not like I'm in my hands because I just ate some meatballs. And when I was at the beach swimming and snorkeling, I found a bunch of cool shells and they're all laid out in front of me. And I thought I'd share what I found with you. Now I have 2 finds of the day, which I'm going to show at the end, which I'm not going to show them now. I'm going to put them at the side right here. And now these are all that I found. Let's start over here. This is sea glass. Sea glass is basically when some pieces of glass fall in the sea and they get worn out and smoothened. So this is not dangerous, it's perfectly smooth. And I found 2 pieces of brown sea glass. The second most common color of sea glass. The rarest is red. Next, there is this broken shell, which, no idea, it must be just one of those basic shells that you find. Now, you might be tempted to call this one a cone shell, but it's not a cone shell. It's another type of shell, which I can't remember the name of again. Yeah, I don't think I'll say much names of shells today. But this is still a really cool shell. Take a look at all the tiny details on it. It's really cool. Now, these are a bunch of boring clam shells, which my mother got. No idea why, but still they're pretty nice. Now, these are turkey wing shells. They're clam shells, which are a bit rarer than usual. So when I found these, I was like, whoa, I found turkey wing shells. They're mostly found in Florida, but they're also found in Europe, Australia. Not that much in Australia, though. These are some really nice and patterned pieces of shell. Now, the second these are pieces of shells, actually, so yeah. I found a bunch of pieces of shells and stuff, which I have no idea why I got. Now I have a ton of nice cone shells here. Let's start with the smallest, which isn't a cone shell. It sort of looks like a tulip shell or something. I don't really know small shells that much. Now I got a ton of cones here. And for all the shells I don't have a name for, or know the name of, comment down below and tell me the right name for them. If I get it wrong or just not say it, please comment down below and tell me the name of them. Here, I already showed this one. Now this is a cone shell. This is the smallest one that I found. You can see it has a few tiny patterns. Now there's also a bigger one that I found, which has some nice bigger patterns. It's really nice. Now there's also this even bigger one with even bigger patterns, but not that complicated. And this is the first shell that I found today. So yeah, it's pretty nice. It kind of looks like corn. I kind of want to pop it into popcorn. This is sort of basic shell or something. I have a bigger one of these in my collection, and way bigger. And there's another teeny weeny cone shell, and this other teeny weeny cone shell. And now this is a bubble shell. These are quite rare in Australia, but we're not in Australia, we're in Greece. So it's quite common to find these around here. I found 2 others when I was way younger. Now there are some more right here. This might not look like much, but it actually is a lot. You can see this is a piece of a shell. This is a piece of a ton shell. These are huge shells. They can grow to be this big. Literally, bigger than my head. And how I know they are is because they have these signature tiny grooves on them, which I'm not sure if you can see, but I think you'll see them if you look closely. And they're quite rare around here, so I'm quite lucky to find a piece of it. I found 2 other pieces when I went to either Croatia or Zakynthos. Now this is a horn shell. It might look rare, but they're actually extremely common in some places. They're hollow, and they might look like bone or something, but they're not. And speaking of bone, there's some in my finds of the day. this is a humongous shell. Like, it's quite big. I'm not sure if you can see how big it is, but it is pretty big. It looks bigger up actually in real life than it does in the camera. And look, you can put it right over your eye. Kind of funny. Now, I don't know the name of this one, and like I said, comment down below the name of this shell, if you know it. And I also found two others. The biggest one is actually found by my mother, and she pretty much found a lot of these shells and rocks. Now, this rock, the reason it was not in the finds of the day is because it's not that obvious what's so cool with it, but once you look up close, there is a shell imprint on there. But it's just not that evident. That's why I didn't go in the finds of the day. Now, there's a few other basic rocks. And this tiny green cute one. And if you're wondering why it's green, it's a bunch of rocks that have been melted together and with a bunch of green algae growing between them. Wait a second, I've already shown this one. How does it keep managing to find its way into my showing? This is another really nicely patterned shell. Like, it has those tiny textiles. And this is not a textile shell. I know those are extremely dangerous. Don't want to touch them. Now look, this is a really, really pretty yellow shell. And the reason I said that textile cone shells are really bad to touch is because they have a very venomous mollusk. Now back to this one. This is a really nice yellow shell. Smells like the sea. And it's really pretty. My mother really likes it. Now this is a giant topper shell. Or, I don't remember. Again, comment down below. I don't know my shells as good as I used to. And like I said, comment down below the name of this shell. Now, there are a bunch of jingle shells. These are, if you don't know, they're very fragile shells, which are often used for I just can't remember what they were used for. But I know they were used for something. They were used for wind chimes. Now I got these tiny, super fragile pieces of coral right here. Which, by the way, they're not actually coral. And I just broke one. Oops, I hit my leg on the table. Now these are a bunch of small purple shells. Usually I'd be amazed by these, but since what I found is way cooler than this, I'm not that impressed. And there are these sharper clams right here, which have some spikes on them. Pretty cool. And this shell right here, which is broken, but my mother still got it anyway, because they're free. Now, for the moment you've all been waiting for, the finds of the day. The first one is a fossil horse tooth. If you don't know what fossilized means, it's basically a really old bone which has almost turned into rock. And this is a fossilized horse tooth. But I know what you're probably wondering. Why is it so small? Well, horses back a few million years ago, they were the size of dogs. That's unbelievable. Like, you couldn't ride them. You couldn't even dream of riding them. They were so tiny. With these teeth, they might look big, but they're actually quite small. This is definitely going in my fossil collection. This is such a cool find. And that I found it in the beach is even cooler. Now, this is a really cool shell, and this is the moon snail. In Australia, if you're from Australia, you might be saying, it's a boring shell. We find it all the time. I know, but here in Europe, it's extremely rare. Like, literally, I couldn't find that at shell shops anywhere. And that I found one, it's so cool. And it's just how beautiful it is. Look, it has this white right there with a bit of brown. I'm not sure. And yeah, like I said, this shell is really cool. And here's another look at it. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you enjoyed it, please leave a like in this video and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me make more videos like this. And I hope you enjoyed it. Bye. Thanks for watching.